Hello everyone. Today we will be discussing chapter 1, that is linear equation in two variable of Standard-10th SAC board. Now as the name of the chapter is linear equation in two variable. So what does mean by linear equation in two variable? So equation means which has right hand side and left hand side, that is called as the equation. So linear equation in two variable consisting of two variables. For example, 3x plus 2y is equal to 10. So in this equation we have two variables, that are x and y. X and y are the variables, whereas this 3 and 2 are called as coefficients. So here there are two variables. Also, the degree of this variable, that is this power, is also 1. So this is called as linear equation. So the equation in which there are two variables and the degree of the variable is 1. So this is called as linear equation. So we will discuss the general form of linear equation. So the general form is ax plus by plus c equal to 0. So in this, x and y are variables, a, b and c are coefficients. So this can be reformed as ax plus by is equals to minus c. So just we have taken this c from right hand side to the left hand side. It has two variables and the degree of each variable is 1. So it is known as linear equation. Keep in mind the general form of the linear equation, which is very important further while solving the questions. Now we will discuss few of the equations, whether they are linear equations or not, as the activity is given in your textbook. So first one is 4m plus 3n equal to 12. So here m and n are two variables, where 4 and 3 is the coefficient. Also the variable has degree 1. Therefore this is the linear equation. So there are so much examples in your textbooks. So another one is 3x square minus 7y equal to 13. So we have to discuss whether this equation is linear equation or not. So as per the definition of linear equation in two variables, the equation should contain two variables. So this also equation contain two variable x and y. But also, what does the definition of linear equation says? That it should contain two variables. Also the degree of variable should be 1. But here the degree of variable y is 1, but the degree of variable x is 2. So this is not the linear equation, just because it has degree 2. If this equation was like this, 3x minus 7y equal to 13, then this was the linear equation, because it contained two variable x and y. Also each variable has degree 1. So if you have question to check whether the equation is linear equation or not, it is very important to know the number of variables, also the degree of variables. Now another example is 0x plus 6y minus 3 equal to 0. Now is this a linear equation in two variable? So it has two variable and the degree of each variable is also 1. So whether it is a linear equation, as per the definition we will say yes, it is a linear equation. But whenever a coefficient is 0, so anything we multiplied with a 0 will become 0. So this is 0 plus 6y minus 3 equal to 0. Now this is a new equation which we had, and which has only one variable, that is y. So this is not a linear equation, because anything we multiply with the 0 becomes 0. So here we are multiplying a x variable with coefficient 0, so which will become 0. That's why it is not a linear equation. Similarly, there is another one example in your textbook, which is 1.3x plus 0y minus 36 equal to 0. This is also not a linear equation, because here y is the variable, x is the variable. So there are two variables. It has degree 1, but the coefficient of y is 0. So this whole term will become 0, because 0 multiplied with anything is 0. Therefore this is also not a linear equation. Now one more interesting example is 4 upon x plus 5 upon y is equals to 4. Now we can't decide anything whether it is a linear equation in two variable or not, just because this is not in a standard form or a generalized form of a linear equation. So first we have to make this equation in a generalized form. So what is generalized form of linear equation? Ax plus by plus c equal to 0. So this is the generalized form of the linear equation. So as I said, this form we have to keep in mind, because it is very important while solving the examples. So first we will make this into a generalized form, and we will check whether it has two variables and the degree of each variable is 1. So to check that, we will convert this into this form. So we have to convert this equation into this generalized form. Now how we will do that? As we know, there are x and y variables into denominator, so we will cross multiply it. So 4 will be multiplied with the y. So 4y plus 5x, and this will get multiplied with each other. So that will be xy equal to 4. Now after cross multiplying, we don't have the equation in the generalized form. So what we will do, we will so here it is a division. After going on the other side, right hand side, it will become multiply. So we will take this 4xy to the right hand side. So 4y plus 5x equal to 4xy. Now 4y plus 5x minus 4xy equal to 0. I have just taken this 4xy from right hand side to left hand side. As here it is plus, after going to the left hand side it will become minus. I will just rearrange this in terms of this, just to have x earlier than the y. So 5x plus 4y minus 4xy equal to 0. Now it has two variables, x and y. Degree of variable is 1, but as our equation, general equation has c, only c, that is the coefficient, or we could say or constant. So we just want a constant term, no any variable in it. Over here there is x, y. So these are the two variables which are multiplied. So this is not linear equation. What we did, we were having this equation. This was not in the generalized form. So we have made it into a generalized form. For converting it into generalized form, we have multiplied. We have cross multiplied this variable. So we get this equation. Again, this equation is not into a generalized form. So we have taken xy to the right hand side. So it is multiplied. Again, we have taken it on the left hand side, as it is over here plus, after going to left hand side it will be minus. Now we are comparing this equation with the generalized equation. We have two variables, x and y. Also we have the degree of each variable 1. But while comparing with the generalized equation, over here the c term, it is the constant term. It should not have any variables. But our equation in which there is a variable, there are two variables x and y which are multiplied with each other. That's why this equation is not a linear equation. But what if this equation was like this: 5x plus 4y minus 4 equal to 0. If this equation was like this, instead of x and y, if there was no x and y over here, then this was the linear equation. So this is the major difference. We have to check whether it has two variables and also comparing it with a general form of the linear equation, because in general form the c term, it is a constant. It should not have any variables. So over here it was having variables, so therefore it is not a linear equation. But what if the same equation was like this? Then it was the linear equation. Now there is another one example which is like 4xy minus 5y minus 8 is equals to 0. This is also not a linear equation. Now you will see that here there is a constant, as our linear equation says c term is constant. So here also the c term is constant. But there are two variables at a time. X and y are together. X and y are together as per our definition, and the general form is ax plus by plus c equal to 0. So this a and b are coefficient, and a and b only have one variable. So there is only one variable with a and there is only one variable with b. Over here there is only one variable with 5, but there are two variables x and y with 4. So that's why it is not linear equation, just because there are two variables x and y with 4, and our general equation says that it should have only one variable with one coefficient. As the whole equation has two variables, but variable with each coefficient should be 1. Like here a is one coefficient, it has only one variable x. Over here b is one coefficient and it has only one variable y, whereas c is a constant term. But if we consider this as a whole equation, so equation has two variable x and y, but each term has one variable. So in this equation ax plus by plus c equal to 0. This is one term, this is one term, and this is the constant over here. So each term should have one variable and equation has two variables. So this is called as linear equation in two variables. I hope you have cleared with the concept of linear equation in two variables. What does the linear equation in two variables mean? As the name of your chapter is linear equation in two variable, I hope you have cleared with the concept. So what we have discussed till now is what is meant by linear equation, its general form. So linear equation, it contains two variables, because as we are discussing about two variables, so it has two variables with each variable having degree 1, and general form of it is ax plus by plus c equal to 0. And there are a few examples of linear equations are like 3x plus 4y equal to 12, 9x plus 5y equal to 14. Examples are the examples of linear equations. So I will give you further few equations and you have to tell me whether they are linear equations or not. So examples are So just tell me in comment section whether which of these three equations are the linear equation in two variables. Thank you.